All right, cool, man. What's up? How you doing?
What's up, man?
Good to see you.
I'm good. How you been?
This is Norman Woods, everybody. Trevor here at Paradise Skate Mag. We're going to do an interview today, explore your past, present, and future. Super excited about what you're doing with collage skateboards and all that.
Collage, yes.
So tell viewers a little bit about your past, how you started with skating, all that.
So I started skating 1998. I was 13 years old, and it just kind of took over my life in a lot of respects. So all I wanted to do, I played basketball before that, but it was like a thing like, you know, for organized sports, you need a lot of money. There needs to be a lot of investment as far as your parents and time. And the circumstances that I was living in, that wasn't going to happen. So it was like the thing that stuck, you know, because like I always did well in school, was like always honor roll, gifted student, but also the opportunities that come with that. A lot of people don't realize that takes money, that takes involvement. And when you're in a household where there's nobody who's really involved in your life, something like skateboarding can come in and fill that void very easily, because it was like, okay, I gotta join a league to compete with people in basketball. But with skateboarding, I got good at it relatively quickly. And so Weston Korea lived in my neighborhood, and he knew what was up. Like he could tell that like I had the fire for it. So he'd be like, yeah, just buy a deck and then for 20 bucks. And then he'd give me a bunch of used decks and some clothes, which I desperately needed because I was, you know, getting teased for wearing the cheap shoes, not having Jordans and all that stupid shit. So the skateboard quickly took that in music. I got into punk music right around the same time I got into skating, and I'd already been into music. I was in the concert band and then eventually the marching band and jazz band, played in punk bands eventually too. So it's like, it just kind of stuck. And so, I've been rolling ever since.
Sick. Weston was like a big influence in your life?
Weston was a huge influence because there wasn't information about skateboarding out there. It was just, you see some dude in a magazine, you don't know what the lifestyle is, like you don't know what to expect, you know, and he made it real. He made it like a real thing. And he was in the neighborhood like how everybody's skating here. Even though skateboarding wasn't blown up like that in the 90s, he was skating the curb spot with me and my friends that I first learned to skate at. So seeing him was like, oh, skating is a thing that you can actually do. It's not impossible.
At what age did you start figuring out that skateboarding might be something you want to do, you know, as a career?
So first, it just ended up being like, it's like if you get sponsors, you don't have to spend money on skateboards, you know, because like what started me really skating, I had this job, I would pass out flyers, and I got like a Veriflex cheap board at a garage sale, and I would use it to push around to pass out the flyers, you know, and the cook from the job like saw my board while he was smoking a cigarette on his break, did an ollie on it and broke it. So then he gave me some money to get a board, and I found out about real boards, but he gave me like 30 bucks because he had been a skater before, and he knew what was up. He knew that was a cheap ass board, and he gave me 30 bucks. I went to White Sands at the Northridge Mall, and then I realized, oh, I can't afford a skateboard with this. So I worked, and then my dad sent me a little bit of money. My mom gave me a little bit on my birthday, and then I was able to get a real board at World Industries.
Sick.
And that was like, it was like I skated that first board for so long. It was so beat up, and it's so hard to progress when you have janky gear.
Yeah.
So like I had two friends that I'd skate with every day, and we were progressing really fast, and we just realized like if you have a sponsor, you can get free stuff. And so the first sponsor we had was Valley Skate and Surf in the Valley. And then it was like, okay, you get on the little B team, they give you a discount, and we would use the discount to get the Pal Mini logo decks. And I can't even tell you how many of those I skated. And then it would like, from there, it was like, try to get on the A team where you get a certain amount free. Try to get, so you can keep skating was the main thing, because it's so expensive. Like it's such a labor intensive thing, and it's such a resource consuming thing that to be able to find people who support you is like a blessing, and it allowed me to keep going, you know?
What were some of the first video parts you put out? When did that happen?
The first actual video part that I had come out was like my Magminute. Like before that, I had filmed parts. Like I was getting boards at some point from like Shorties, and supposed to be getting on the team. Like Muska hooked me up with that. Sick. And they kind of changed their direction, and they went with all little guys. And I was still young, I was like 18, but I got a phone call. They're like, look, we're focusing on smaller guys. We'll hook you up forever. So nothing came of that as far as the video part, and I still have it. It's like my kind of sponsor me tape. And then like I bounced around. I got hooked up by some other companies. I quit from age 20 to 22 because I was like just kind of realizing like nobody's sending me to contests. Nobody's doing this. Like I get hooked up. Like the last company to hook me up was like Element, and I'd go to the warehouse and pick out stuff. But like they weren't inviting me on trips. They weren't telling me to go skate this contest. So I kind of realized like, damn, I'm 20 years old. I'm doing tricks that are on par with what everyone else is doing, but I'm not getting the push that other people are getting. And so I was like, you know what? I'm off it. And I just like went and made music for 2 years, you know? And then it just, the call was there. Like I've always loved skating. So at 22, I came back and I had like a renewed, like I kind of understood how the gatekeeping works in skateboarding because I'd already been a victim of that. And so I was like, if I'm gonna do this, I gotta figure out my own path. And I just kind of took everything into my own hands. And so it wasn't the Mag Minute, it was Warco Skateboard's Attack Plan video that came out in like 2007. And then from there, like I went and shot a photo, Nollie front board, Hollywood 16, got a spread and the Mag Minute, they brought it out. And then from there, like some stuff like that. Like I had a digital part after that. They did a thing called like the Rip Clips, I had that. And then like Ira Ingram, Curb Killer, like he's a skater, but he's also an amazing videographer and he like, you know, and just an amazing video guy. I had a part in his video, I Heart Skateboarding. And then we did the Warco Skateboard Sun Machine video. And then like chronology gets kind of messed up after that because I've been doing this for 27 years in April. So it's just all a blur now, but yeah.
So how old are you now?
I'm going to be 40 in April, wow, 39. So
still going strong, yeah?
It's trying to. I'm going to do this until my joints won't let me, you know?
How has the skateboarding changed for you as you've aged?
As I've aged, so when I was younger, I was always pretty consistent, but when you're young, you feel invincible and you don't quite understand that your body's a finite resource, right? So like the way that I look at skating now, I look at it like kind of like an equation, right? Like it's my skill, my athletic prowess, and the wisdom that I have about skating versus the erosion of my abilities at that time. So I'm always trying to figure out that equation, and it makes me go for things a lot quicker than I would when I was young. When I was younger, you might play with the trick. I don't do that at all anymore because I don't know how long this engine is gonna keep running, you know? Like I don't know how long this tank is gonna burn out. So I can't mess around. And then also like, I don't jump down things as much anymore just because I did that for so long. It takes a toll on your body. I've had knee surgeries, foot surgeries, like just so, and everybody's already seen me do that, you know? So it's like, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna go and try to one-up myself one stair at a time with this body. I'd rather like learn how to do a tech trick on a big, massive ledge that other people don't do it on and try to be impressive in that respect, you know? So you just have to be smarter about things. And when you're younger, you could just play fast and loose with your body. But I can't do that anymore. Yeah.
Can you talk about some of your projects you're working on now?
So right now, my brand Collage, which we talked about before, we're putting out a video. I'm trying to get the last trick for my part. And then we got like Paul Rutkowski III, who is amazing. He was my teammate on Destructo. He's having a part. Angie Peroni, she's awesome. She's been learning a lot of tricks. She has a part. And then we just put on a couple new guys, Kale Johnson being one of them. And yeah, I'm editing it as well. So that's been kind of stressful because video editing is not something I necessarily enjoy, but it's just out of necessity. Like one of the other things that I learned from having a career and being around skating for so long is when you allow yourself to rely on other people, it's just too many moving parts, too many points of failure. And so try to limit points of failure. I know I can trust myself. I know that I can rely on myself. So I try to keep as many things, you know, close to the chest as possible these days, you know?
Can you talk about your music career and music?
Yeah, I've been making music longer than I've been skateboarding. I come from a musical family. My grandfather was named Preston Love. He was the lead saxophone player and arranger for Motown when they were in LA. He's not from LA. He's from Omaha, Nebraska, where I was born. But he moved out here for that. And then my dad is also a saxophone player. My uncle's also a saxophone player. So I grew up around jazz. My first instrument was the trumpet. I loved it. Got braces, couldn't play it anymore. Played like the baritone in the marching band for a bit. Played the upright bass in the jazz band. And then I started playing in punk bands. And so I taught myself how to record and how to play the drums and all that. And I'd record on a 4-track recorder. And I've just been playing music forever. Like I said, I took a break from skating from age 20 to 22. And that's all I did is played music in various bands. And so now I have a YouTube channel where I make the music from scratch. I'll do that. Have a 3-piece band. My cousin plays the drums and a good friend of mine plays the bass. We have a residency right now at Harvard and Stone in Hollywood every Tuesday in February. So if you're around LA, come check that out. Or if you're just bored and you want to drive from somewhere, the more the merrier, obviously. Just released a vinyl from my single called Down to Size. If you check the link tree in my Instagram, you can find that. And yeah, that's just try to keep it going. Like having both things simultaneously going on, it can be stressful, time consuming, but when you stop moving, that's when it all falls apart. So
how old were you when you moved out of Omaha?
I moved out of Omaha when I was 5.
Okay.
So I grew up in LA.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, definitely. Must have been a little bit different though, right? Kind of transitioning.
Completely different because I moved to South Central.
Yeah.
So I moved to South Central, and then I lived on 92nd and Budlong from 5 to like 8, and then we moved to the Valley, and then lived in the Valley, moved back to South Central, and then back to the Valley, and then to Lakewood, and then back to the Valley, and then to Inglewood, and then to South Central, and then to Inglewood again, and just I moved around a lot, so I've seen everything that LA basically is and can be. So like a lot of people nowadays, like a lot of these conservative skewed Instagram pages that want to paint LA in a bad light now, like this is something different. Like when I was in high school, I was waking up at 5 to be out by 5:30, walking through prostitutes on Figueroa at 5:30 in the morning back then. And so this is nothing new. This is just a consequence of living in a big city. It's a consequence of capitalism depriving people of resources because of a monopoly game, basically, that we call economy, which is a farce because there's no such thing as a fucking perfect market, which if you've studied economics at all, if you have a brain that works, you know that economics relies on us pretending that there's a perfect market, and there's no way that you can correct for things like human greed and all that. But a lot of human beings are despicable, and their views they try to use religion and morality to prop up just despicable, disgusting views where they prioritize systems over human beings, even though we supposedly create those systems to serve human beings. So my upbringing, you can see why I was a punk rocker growing up, why I was an actual anarchist, the capital A, not the stupid A with the things that you find on some surf gear, like reading the Black Flag of Anarchy and all that. So my upbringing and what I saw growing up, and also just like going to a school that was with more affluent students and being in AP classes with people who just like their parents were making in a month what my family brought in a year, and just seeing the difference, and just like reading and understanding and learning like why the world is the way that it is, and just like
it probably shaped your skateboarding as well.
It shaped my skateboarding. It led me to skateboarding. Like I did well in school, but when you grow up a certain way and you see just like you see the lie of meritocracy, and you see how things are gatekept and upheld in our society, and you see the flimsy reasoning that people give for it, right? And just the false logic that people use, the false narratives that people cling to so they don't have to have survivor's guilt for surviving capitalism, you know what I mean? It just made me stick to skateboarding because I have zero faith and zero respect for institutions. It's instilled in me like a type of irreverence towards those things. And, I know how smart I am because of my upbringing and just all that. So I know I'm not wrong about those things. I know that, everyone else in the world who's telling you what our experiences are is not going to be wrong. And like that and skateboarding are like hand in hand with me because like this is a DIY thing, a DIY movement, skateboarding, right? Like we're all different people. We like different things. We come together because of this, and our society is supposed to be the same thing. Like I hate to get political, but it's just like it's a part of who I am as well. And I feel like I don't talk about it enough just because I don't feel like arguing with people that are functionally illiterate, all the time. Which is inherently what happens when you talk about politics, when you talk about the economy, when you talk,
just people aren't very well educated, I think,
right?
Basically,
and not everyone has as much free time to look into those things as us skaters,
Yep. A lot of it is like self-education too, just reading books and shit.
Autodidact for life, DIY.
The schools don't teach you a lot of this stuff, So
See, I actually got a pretty good education,
yeah.
but it's because of the tracking system that they have. I don't know if they still use the tracking system. Like they split you up in school.
Yeah.
And so like a lot of my friends didn't get the same education that I got. But I like literally took separate field trips to learn how to pull apart a cult and that type of stuff. And I'm forever thankful for that because I don't take anything at face value, right?
Yeah.
And I'm never going to be led to vote against my own economic self-interest because a Nepo baby says that they want to fix the world for people that they have no context for the lives of because they've never walked in the existence of. Yeah. So I'll never forget who I am.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, I just love knowing you and meeting you and skating with you. Norman.
Likewise, it's good to see you again.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and I'll be back again soon. We'll do more cool shit.
Thank you for letting me rant.
Collage Skateboards YouTube channel. It's called Norman Woods.
Check it out.
Yeah. I'll put the links in the description, guys. Yeah. Definitely go buy a hat. Shit's tight.
Go get a hat. Get a skateboard.
Come to Jake1, hang out with us, skate the shit.
Come skate. Yep.
All right.
DM me if you want help with your tricks.
Yeah.
I get a lot of
you do lessons too, right?
I teach lessons. Yeah. I love it. Cool. I get a lot of people DMing me and I'll try to help them with their tricks too because that's one thing growing up, like skateboarders weren't as welcoming as they are now.
Right.
And so for me, it's just like if I can help somebody have an easier time on their skateboard, I will.
Sick.
And so, yeah, feel free to send me a message for help with your kickflip.
Sick. Thanks, Armenian man, bro.
Peace.